You are watching the LemonAid Podcast with Amar Law Group. Join us as we unlock the secrets and expert tips you need to know now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of the LemonAid Podcast with Lemon Law attorney Shalev Amar. I'm your host, Mike Leon. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something no driver should ever have to experience, and that's a dangerous vehicle defect that could put your safety at risk. If your car's brakes, airbags, or your engine fails, it's not just an inconvenience. Your life is actually on the line. And Shalev is here to explain how Lemon Law steps in when your safety is at stake. Shalev, good to see you. Let's start here at this high level. Let's talk about when a defect makes a vehicle unsafe to drive. Let's say brake failure or even steering issues. How does that change the way Lemon Law applies compared to ordinary mechanical problems?
Good to chat with you, Mike. So all Lemon Laws require substantial impairment in use and value in order to take effect. So with all Lemon Laws in general, if the issue is substantial, and I would consider safety to obviously be substantial, then that meets one of the prongs of the Lemon Law. You have two basic prongs that have to be proven. One is an unreasonable repair history, too much repair time, too many repair attempts. And the other is substantial impairment. So that would definitely go to substantial impairment. Now, in some states, for example, California, Oregon, Washington, if you have experienced a defect that puts your safety at risk, more specifically, if it could cause serious bodily injury or even potentially death, then you typically don't need as many repair attempts. Like typically you need 3 or 4 repair attempts to qualify under the Lemon Law, but if it's a major safety issue, it might only be 1 or 2 repair attempts before your vehicle could qualify as a potential lemon.
And that's good to know, because I was going to be the follow-up question I had for you. So let me ask you then, what are some of the most common safety critical defects that you've seen that have led to Lemon Law cases, and why are those taken more seriously?
I would say things like your vehicle dying while you're driving it, or not starting while you're at an intersection. Also brakes obviously not working. If you have suspension issues where your vehicle is shaking badly and it's difficult to steer, that could also be a safety issue. And so, yeah, when it's a more substantial safety issue, what the Lemon Law is designed to do is to get people out of defective vehicles. And when there's a safety problem, that adds an additional element, an additional impetus to get people out of the defective product. Because again, not only is it inconvenient, it's now putting your health, even your life at risk. And so the Lemon Law is meant to enable people to get rid of those types of dangerous vehicles. And then they can be reconditioned and sold at auction, but the original consumer is not having to deal with that vehicle anymore.
So then how quickly should a customer act if they believe their car does have some type of safety defect? And does waiting too long to act, does that weaken their case at all?
Waiting too long is definitely a big problem. Most Lemon Laws do have a statute of limitations, and it varies by state, but most commonly the Lemon Law period is either 1 to 2 years. And typically once you hit that point, you have 6 months to bring an action in court. But some states, it's even just 1 year and that's it. Like you have to file a claim within 1 year or you're timed out. So I always recommend to potential clients to pursue a Lemon Law matter as soon as possible, because time is your enemy here. And the statute of limitations is called SOL, statute of limitations, and it stands for something else as well.
Yeah.
So you got to do your best. If you're having problems, don't sit back, don't wait. You have to take action. I recommend consulting with a Lemon Law attorney as soon as possible.
That's right. It's a family show. We can't say what the other SOL stands for. So, Shalev, let me ask you, what about cars for people maybe listening, watching? They're like, my car's been in the shop a few times, and it's been for like something serious. Let's say like failed airbags. Is that something that would qualify under lemon law?
It could. Now, airbags is a little bit dicier because that's more of an issue if you end up being in an accident. So it's more to protect you for a potential risk. Whereas if your brakes aren't working in the moment, I mean, that can literally cause an accident in the moment. It, the airbags are not going to cause an accident, but obviously on the back end, if you have a major accident or car wreck, you could be badly harmed or injured if your airbags don't work. So it's kind of a gray area. I would think that airbags could arguably fall under being a major safety issue. But regardless, it is substantial. So as we were talking about earlier, most lemon laws, you need at least 3 repair attempts for the same problem to be able to qualify. And so I would say if like the SRS warning light, which stands for safety restraint system, which is the airbag, if that comes up and you need 3 or more repairs for that, then I would believe that an airbag issue would qualify in any state as being a potential lemon vehicle.
A lot of the times manufacturers they downplay some of these problems as if they were normal. How do you specifically help clients push back when the defect is clearly unsafe?
Well, look, manufacturers, they have a perverse incentive here. When when they acknowledge the substantiality or the safety concern of a particular defect, then they are basically admitting half of a potential lemon law claim. And so they obviously have incentive to minimize defects, to minimize concerns. And obviously, you as the driver, you have the opposite incentive. You want to be safe. You don't want to be permanently maimed, injured, or even killed by a defect. So, what we do when we get involved is we try and when we're dealing with a manufacturer representative, they're human beings. And so, even though the company might not want to spend money buying back or replacing lemons or even compensating people, we try and remind them on a human level, like, hey, what if it was your car and you had your kids in the car and you're driving in the middle of summer in a desert state like Arizona or say the southern part of California, and you were broken down on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere with your kids? Is that a situation that you would want to be in? Obviously, that's not normal. Obviously, that's not safe. So we try and put the manufacturer into our client's shoes to help them see that, hey, this is an issue that needs to be addressed appropriately.
You mentioned buybacks a second ago. So beyond buybacks and replacements under lemon law, what are other forms of compensation out there exist that consumers can get if they've been put at risk by a dangerous defect?
Well, a third option is what is called cash and keep. And it's like what it sounds. It's you getting cash compensation with keeping the vehicle. Now, it doesn't mean you ultimately have to keep the vehicle. If you do feel that's unsafe, you can then use the cash compensation and combine it with the trade-in value for your vehicle or the resale price of your vehicle to get into a different vehicle. So it does give you some flexibility. If through some, through some kind of miracle, the manufacturer, through its authorized repairing dealer, is able to properly repair your vehicle and it appears to be working properly and the problem truly is resolved, then you can just decide to keep your vehicle. You have the cash compensation for the inconvenience and for, frankly, the consternation caused by a safety problem. In that situation, you still have all remaining warranty coverages, and also cash and keep compensation settlements are confidential, so you don't have to worry about your vehicle being tagged or labeled as a lemon.
Good to know. So let me ask you then, because a lot of times people want to hear testimonials. Can you share, and it could be anonymous, obviously, can you share an example, maybe a client example, something recent in the past where a safety related defect made the difference in securing a fast and favorable outcome for your client?
Well, look, we've had several situations where a vehicle either stalls out or doesn't start. And those are the kind of cases where, like we talked about earlier, we put the manufacturer representative in our client's shoes and say, hey, how would you felt if it was you and an elderly parent stuck in the side of the road, or you and your children at an intersection and your car's not going and there's people honking behind you, or you're even in the middle of the intersection and you could get T-boned. Obviously, you should do the right thing and take the vehicle back.
So Shalev, piggybacking on that as we land the plane here, somebody right now, they feel like their vehicle is unsafe. They're at home. They just heard this. They're like, it's unsafe. What would you advise them to do? But also, what mistakes would you steer them away from so that way it doesn't hurt their case?
One of the biggest mistakes to avoid is don't take matters into your own hands by going to an independent repair shop. By independent, I mean not an authorized repair shop of the manufacturer, which is typically the manufacturer's local selling dealerships. You don't want to go to just a local repair shop that's not the dealer, because that could void your warranty. And then all of a sudden give the manufacturer a defense against your claim that they would not otherwise have. The other thing that we recommend that people not do, even though it's understandable in the moment to be emotional, to be upset, to be angry, is not to scream at or threaten the manufacturer or the repair shops, because that could just be used against you in the future. You basically need three things to win if a case ever goes to trial, and it's very rare to go to trial in these cases, but the companies still take a look at whether they can defend the case. So in a civil litigation context, you need three things. You need the facts, the law, and you need to be a likable claimant. And so if you're emotional and you're cursing them out and screaming at them and threatening them, even if you might feel justified in the moment, that could be turned around and used against you to make you seem like an unreasonable, crazy person. And some jurors might just be turned off by that kind of behavior. And even if you have a legitimate claim, could find against you. So companies know that. And so when people go crazy, sometimes the company is not willing to do as much because they believe that they could defend the case and just basically blame the victim and demonize you. So that's the main two things to avoid, is to go to an independent repair shop and to blow up on them. And also, what's super important to do is to make sure that you take your vehicle in for repair right away, and to always get the repair invoices. They're called repair orders. That is the number one piece of evidence in these types of cases. And so the main thing to do here is to get your vehicle repaired first and foremost for your safety, but also to make sure that the repairs are documented. So if the problem is not getting fixed in a reasonable number of attempts, then there's recourse that you have under the Lemon Law.
Yeah. Shalev, thank you for the time and insights on this, man. We truly appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And thank you to everybody out there listening to another installment of the LemonAid Podcast with Lemon Law attorney Shalev Amar. Look, if you've been stuck with a defective vehicle, especially one that's unsafe, you don't have to keep living with the stress and the danger. Do me a favor, go out there and visit Arizona Lemon Law Advocates or Oregon Lemon Law Advocates, a bunch of other states, Washington Lemon Law Advocates, Utah Lemon Law Advocates, Colorado, Minnesota, New Mexico Lemon Law Advocates, or go to nevadalemonlaw.info or californialemonlawadvocate.com, or you can call 866-904-2627 for a free lemon law evaluation. Remember, with Amar Law Group's fair, free guarantee, you'll never pay more in attorney's fees than you recover for cash and keep resolutions. Take action, because enough is enough. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment and review, or share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. We'll see everybody next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and comment below.